I do remember this same sort of rhetoric coming from Ms. Montgomery, trying to claim that, black voters were going to change sides to the Republican Party. And in 2020, I think the black percentage was like 6% for Trump. So I just find it funny that every 4 years, the same, kind of song and dance gets laundered by the Republican Party. And I think it's worth mentioning that, Ms. Montgomery, she was the former city director of Blatant, which is a far right, we're going to try and get, we're going to try and quote unquote free the plantation mentality is a literal quote of the organization of black voters. And it's founded by Candace Owens, who's a far right loon. So I just think it's disappointing when C-SPAN, platforms people like Michaela Montgomery or Sebastian Gorka, or constantly refers to the Washington Examiner or the Washington Times, which are quite literally far-right newspapers that are made up. I mean, the Washington Examiner, go look up who founds them. Next, you're going to be, referring to the Epoch Times. So,
all right, Colin, we'll get a response from Michaela Montgomery. Go ahead, Michaela.
First of all, I'm a huge fan of Candace Owens, and I went to my first Black event here in Buckhead back in 2019. And the speeches that I heard, the visualizations that were presented to me, I was like, wow, this is great. And when it comes to getting off the Democratic plantation, that's a real thing, and I don't know why somebody would feel like I, myself, would be offended by that. If everybody thinks the same, has been fear-mongered into thinking the same way, living the same way, then yes, that's a plantation, because how in the world were so many slaves who outnumbered their slave masters continuing to be slaves? It happened because they were fearful of doing something different. So when we say that Democrats are on this Democratic plantation, specifically talking about black people, it's because yes, you guys are all blindly following a leader and you're scared to do something different. Additionally, to think that somebody like myself, who can clearly articulate their points, their opinions, their life experience that have led them to support certain candidates, it's very interesting that somebody would demean C-SPAN for having a guest like me on TV. There's plenty of people who think, act, and wish that a voice like mine had a bigger platform. So it's unfortunate that people like that feel like we should be silenced.
Michaela Montgomery, a real hero, which we're going to talk about here today. She does not step in line with the Democrats' way of thinking. Therefore, it's open season on the racial slurs for her. Now, she went viral off the Chick-fil-A video when Trump went in there, which Democrats claimed were fake because she's a Republican. She can't think how she wants to think or something? What's up with that? It's open season on Republicans. Racism is real once you're Republican because Democrats hit you with everything. They called her Samuel L. Jackson off of the Django. That's pretty bad. But if you're a Democrat, no, you can't talk to people like that. Oh no, that's racism. But if you're Republican, let's go, baby. Anyway, I'm Buzz Brown Conservative. Let's do this.
And Colin is calling us from Washington, D.C., Independent Line. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call, and thank you for C-SPAN. I lived in Georgia during the 2020 election, and I didn't vote for Biden or Trump, but I do remember this same sort of rhetoric coming from Ms. Montgomery, trying to claim that, black voters were going to change sides to the Republican Party. And in 2020, I think the black percentage was like 6% for Trump. So I just find it funny that every 4 years, this same, kind of song and dance gets laundered by the Republican Party. And I think it's worth mentioning that, Ms. Montgomery, she was the former city director of Blatant, which is a far right, we're going to try and get, we're going to try and quote unquote free the plantation mentality is a literal quote of the organization of black voters. And it's founded by Candace Owens, who's a far right loon. So I just think it's disappointing when C-SPAN, platforms people like Michaela Montgomery or Sebastian Gorka, or constantly refers to the Washington Examiner or the Washington Times, which are quite literally far-right newspapers that are made up. I mean, the Washington Examiner, go look up who founds them. Next, you're going to be, referring to the Epoch Times. So,
all right, Colin, will.
So what is so wrong about getting off the plantation mentality? What's wrong with saying that? Black people can't think for themselves. They're stupid otherwise, right? How dare you think for yourself? How dare you research the Democratic Party and find out that they're the party of slavery? How dare you research Abraham Lincoln, find out he, freed you guys, and then Democrats went and shot him in the head? How dare you research and think for yourself? And then you find out that they've always been the party of slavery. They've always been the party of racist KKK, neo-Nazis, etc. With all this stuff you want to call Republicans, that's been you guys. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror, boo-boo.
We'll get a response from Michaela Montgomery. Go ahead, Michaela.
First of all, I'm a huge fan of Candace Owens, and I went to my first Blatant event here in Buckhead back in 2019. And the speeches that I heard, the visualizations that were presented to me, I was like, wow, this is great. And when it comes to getting off the Democratic plantation, that's a real thing, and I don't know why somebody would feel like I, myself, would be offended by that. If everybody thinks the same, has been fear-mongered into thinking the same way, living the same way, then yes, that's a plantation, because how in the world were so many slaves who outnumbered their slave masters continuing to be slaves? It happened because they were fearful of doing something different. So when we say that Democrats are on this Democratic plantation, specifically talking about black people, it's because yes, you guys are all blindly following a leader and you're scared to do something different. Additionally, to think that somebody like myself, who can clearly articulate their points, their opinions, their life experience that have led them to support certain candidates, it's very interesting that somebody would demean C-SPAN for having a guest like me on TV. There's plenty of people who think, act, and wish that a voice like mine had a bigger platform. So it's unfortunate that people like that feel like we should be silenced.
All right, let's talk to Ladley and Mary.
Wow, incredible, incredible. Just because she knows Candace Owens personally and wants to get off this mindset, she's an enemy. Like, how dare you try to think for yourself? What's wrong with you people? People can think how they want to think for themselves. Also, a Mexican Latino starts making videos about Democrats, and next thing you know, I'm a wetback. They tell me Trump's gonna deport me in the comments. I can't have my own opinion? Really? This black woman can't have her own opinion? Otherwise, you guys start being racist all suddenly, even though you're about not being racist. You're hypocrites, man.
Marietta, Georgia, Democrat. Good morning.
Yes, I did not know that you knew Candace Owens. Because she's pretty much been outcasted by the right because of her stances on Israel. But anyway, you will have a good job at Fox News at some point. I guarantee you that. And the things you point out on the Democrats for their failures, you're absolutely right on some of the things. The Democrats fall short, but at least we try. The Republican policies are just the complete opposite. Okay, last thing I want to say, they're never going to let you in the club. Okay, and you like the movie Django, you are the character of Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know the exact terminology, but not Uncle Tom, but Uncle Tommy, or you were a complete sellout.
Blatant racism right there. That's a Democrat. That's a liberal for you. You're a complete sellout. He didn't want to say Uncle Tom, but that's what he wanted to say. You're uppity. You work in the house with Master. You're kissing his butt. That's what he wanted to say. That's a real race. That's a modern day racist right there. That's KKK member without the hood. Democrats. They call and bash this woman and tell her that she ain't black because she's a Republican who's worked with Candace Owens or who knows her. Yada, yada, yada. She gave Trump a hug. A sellout. It's so ridiculous how these people think and how they treat people of color when they themselves are about DEI and etc. But when you're a Republican, it's open season. We're about to destroy you.
Respond to that?
Oh, yes, you can.
Thank you very much. Because first of all, it sounded like that was a non-black person telling me that. So as a Democrat, that sounds pretty racial and pretty divisive. Next, it's very interesting that I, again, would be called names or be compared to fictional characters because of who I choose to support. Again, these people who are calling and making these derogatory statements about me, who I choose to support, are denying the fact that, again, who are you to tell me that my personal experience is invalid? I think that that's something that a lot of Democrats need to look within, because how have you tried? Kamala Harris is in office right now and has not tried to do anything about the border, has not tried to not tax people on tips, and has not tried to do anything about our failing education system. So everything that she's promising she can do for you on day one, she could do right now, but she's not trying to. So that's something to, for some Dems to take home.
Robert in Aurora, Indiana, Republican. Good morning.
Yeah, sweetheart.
Ooh, scorched earth, boy. Scorched earth on Kamala Harris administration, Biden, whatever, yada, yada, yada. These people are letting in 15,000 illegals across the border every day. Every day, and they're in charge of the border. But, we're going to do something about it day one. We're going to not tax your tips, yada, yada, yada. Trump said that. They can do something right now, literally right now, and she's telling them that they're not. That they're all full of crap. Bologna sandwich, boy. Bologna sandwich. Quit believing these lies, people.
Aaron, independent in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I would like to address my comment to Mrs. Montgomery. If she doesn't know how she's in her current station of life based on resources or housing taxes or just her luck of the draw, I agree. You're not very smart. Thanks for taking my call.
Wait, Aaron. What are you talking about? What do you mean?
Exactly. Let's sound smarter when we ask the question, please.
Thanks for taking my call. I'm going to insult you. You don't get the response to my insults.
Well, yeah, you made a comment earlier when you were living in Nevada and you moved to Atlanta. I don't know if it was my resources in Nevada because I guess they had pretty good school system.
Actually, we don't. Nevada was ranked very low when it comes to education. It just so happened that our government allocates our dollars better. But go ahead.
But initially you said you didn't know if you were smarter, but if you think resources
in regards to how I feel my level of intelligence is in relation to the people that I've met out here.
Yeah, Michaela, let him finish. Go ahead, Aaron.
I'm sorry for talking while you're interrupting. Well, you go ahead. Carry on.
I think I understand what you're getting. You heard my sentiments earlier in which I said I moved out here, and I don't want to say that I feel like I'm smarter than anybody else, but was it the resources that were allocated to me? Was it the fact that I got lucky with amazing teachers? Nevada ranks very low on education. So let's not act like, oh, all of a sudden I'm not smart. No, I noticed that even with Nevada being ranked so low in education, I felt like the quality of education that I received was much better than the ones that kids are receiving out here.
Out the property taxes.
Okay, property taxes. Property taxes. So are you telling me that with all the black wealth that exists here in Atlanta, with all the black millionaires that live here in Atlanta, why in the world do 92% of APS students are illiterate? Make it make sense. And we have Democratic mayors, we have Democratic city council members, we have Democratic commissioners, and for whatever reason, 92% of the kids here cannot read. That statistic did not exist in Nevada. So again, I don't know if it was the fact that I got lucky. I can't say that, oh my God, it's the teachers that suck out here. I would never demean our educators here in Atlanta. But what we can acknowledge is the numbers, sir. And so while you want to call me not smart, please tell me what your side has done to fix the illiteracy rate that we see in our black children. Absolutely nothing. And in fact, not only have they not done anything to address the illiteracy issue, but then they're further confusing your kids by telling them that men can give birth, by telling them that there's 53 genders, and that by telling them that your love for your best friend must mean that you are gay, you are a pansexual, asexual. Kids under the age of anything high school should not be thinking anything sexual, period. Sexual should not even be in their vocabulary. So for you to say that I'm not smart because I'm willing to call out all of the degeneracy that exists within our current education system only points to your lack of intelligence and your lack of initiative to actually do something in regards to saving our children and saving our schools.
All right, let's talk to Sam in Rome.
Wow, incredible. Incredible. This is what these liberals do. You heard the guy try to end the call before giving the rebuttals back and forth with Michaela. This is what they do. You cannot have a coherent conversation with a liberal because they don't want to hear the facts. They don't want to hear the truth that they're trying to turn our kids transgender or gay. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the literacy truth, what Michaela just gave him. They don't care about the truth. They don't care about the facts because it's feelings over facts. How I feel is the fact, not the fact itself. That's the reality that is the liberal mind, especially the leftist loony liberals. They just full on whatever the new idea is, the furries, the tampons in boys' bathroom, whatever it is, that's what they're for. They're for the little bitty minority in this country, and they're not for the majority of this country. Excuse me. The majority of this country are not about all that. They just want to live peacefully, not have high taxes, not have this transgender rainbow flag shoved down their throat. That's what we're about. And if you're about that, then your values align with the Republican Party, obviously, because the Democrats are full-on communist socialists, full-on crazy ideas. They want to continue to throw money at foreign wars. They want to continue to lie to your face, literally lie to your face, and let thousands of illegals cross the border. And then they put up Kamala. She wasn't the pick. She didn't get all these delegates votes to get her in. And yet she's the front runner for the Democratic Party somehow. How does that happen? How does that happen? That's insane. Anyway, guys, y'all let me know. I'm Buzz Brown Conservative. Peace.